Hello. All right, I'm muting the desktop for a moment because I'm going to do something different today. But hi, welcome. I'm here. I'm going to be streaming for about 2.5 hours. This is going to be our sixth stream for Mistonia, and we're starting our second route hopefully today. I did double check, and you have to play 2 of the 5 or the 6 to unlock Edward. So we can't get to Edward, so I'm going to have to go after Alfred because I'm not doing Lucas. Second, I'm just not doing that. I don't want to. I could be heartbroken. I could be trapped. I could be lied to. I will not do his route second. So we're gonna do Alfred, which is still a character I was very much interested in. Again, if I could have picked my route, it would have started with Edward and Linus. They kind of tied in my head. And then Jack would technically be third in terms of who I thought was interesting. Then Ascot, and then Alfred, and then Lucas. So in that mindset, like this is odd because it's like the second to top. But before we start today's stream, we went to the mall today after hanging out with one of our friends, and they had a Pop Mart machine, and I don't own a single Pop Mart toy. So we bought a couple. And I thought I'd open them on stream since I just got these. Um, I am obsessed with blind boxes. I don't know if I've ever talked about this. Technically, my Kirby's aren't blind boxes. You know what you're gonna get, but I collect Tokidokis. I have so many of those, and I have a lot of other ones. I actually was cleaning my room, and I found a box that was just full of my blind boxes from when we moved apartments 7 years ago, and I had just never had a chance to put them up. So I picked out this one. Her name is Nyota, and the reason I picked her out was because she looks like Little Misfortune. Um, and I love Little Misfortune, and so I picked out her. And then my sister, Yoon, picked out this one. So this is Little Peach Riot's Sleepover Edition. This one's really fun. The box is like got translucent glitter in it, so that's really neat in my opinion. I find that cool. I don't know if it's picking up on camera, but it's got it in there. I can see it if you can't. And then she also picked out this one because she wanted to see the difference in sizes. So this is the big Peach Riot Rise Up version. So I'm gonna open this one last because it's bigger than the rest. But I'm gonna start with the little. So the little Peach Riot, she wants, because I've watched so many videos. She doesn't want the GG star. She likes them all, but I told her she has to pick her favorite and least favorite. So GG star, and then Poppy, Cloud, and Frankie Moon were her top two. So she would like basically from this row alone. Please, hello, hello, we're here. We're in this together. I know you can do it. There we go. So she would like Frankie Moon, Poppy Cloud, but the GG Star she doesn't like, which I think is crazy because I think GG Star looks like a dark magician girl. And then this is the other ones you can get. I think Poppy Face Mask is really cute. And Poppy Yawn just because she has a bunny. And there is a secret. I forgot what the secret looks like. It shows you on the machine, which I thought was kind of cool. And this one has a little tear. All right, I know there's a card in here. I'm going to avoid looking at it, so we're surprised together. We'll see if I can actually open this successfully, though, in the process. And then so my game doesn't fall asleep on me. I ripped this entirely off. That was not intentional. That was not... Here, let me scoot back so you can maybe kind of see my hands today. But yeah, I have not seen... We found out they're going to be opening a Pop Mart here, which I think is kind of cool. I like blind boxes. I like when blind boxes succeed. A long, long time ago in Arizona, there was a store called, I think it was called Toy Robot or Red Robot, something like that. And they just sold blind boxes, and I bought so many blind boxes there. I used to go, like, that was my, for funsies, we'd go there. I don't know if that's a toy or not. And I loved it. It was a great time. All right, there is a card there. I touched the mouse. It scared me. All right, drum roll. We have a toy wrapped inside another toy. Oh, it's the one she wants. It's Cloud. It's Cloud Peach or Poppy. I can see the little pillow of Cloud. Oh my gosh, look at that girl. Look at her. Can you focus on this sweet little baby in my hands? Please stop looking at the baby over my shoulder. My camera really does not enjoy close-ups. She's like, what is a close-up? Will you do it? There we go. There she is. Look at her. Oh my god, she's so cute. That's adorable. In the bottom it says Peach Riot. Is this related? No, this is just that stuff you put in things so they don't get moldy. And there is a card in here with her face on it, so that's perfect. Which honestly, I like the cards. I think the cards are hecka cute. Actually, I just lied. I didn't mean to lie. I do own one Pop Mart toy. It's the Crybabies, or yeah, I think they're called Crybabies. My friend got it for me for my birthday because they had a version that had an Alice in Wonderland one, so she bought me that one specifically. So I forget I have her because she lives in my Alice in Wonderland cabinet. She doesn't go anywhere. All right, so we got that one, which is perfect. She's gonna be elated when she gets to meet her. I won't tell her what she got. That way she can look in the box herself. She knows I'm opening them. I didn't steal these from the living room. She asked me if I wanted to open them when we got home, and I said, do you want me to record it? And she's like, yeah, why not? All right, so then we're going to go with this one, which is Nyota. And Nyota, I really liked the spring wisteria. I liked the summer Mew Mews. Um, the only one I didn't really like that much was the forest tapestry, but oh, it's still cute. It's still cute. Maybe. If you believe in yourself hard enough, you'll see it. There it is. So that's the forest tapestry. That's the only one. This one right beside it too, the Cloud Watcher was really cute. Genesis is cute. There's the Mew Mews. There's good Mew Mews. And the Wisteria one, I really like the Wisteria one. I think the Wisteria one's actually what sold it on us. We looked at that. We're like, okay, that looks great. But yeah, should I have bought these? No, I really shouldn't have. I'm on a budget. We've been talking about our budget recently. We're planning for the new year, trying to save money. They also just announced this new BTS concert coming up. Oh my god, I had to renew my membership. I haven't had that renewed in years. And I think the last time I got it was because of a concert too. Why are they doing this to me? Who are these people? All right, I'm gonna. Oh, is that a hint? Okay. Not looking inside the box. Got my bag. I pulled something out that was green. Oh, oh my god. She's like, oh, she's the bamboo. She's the bamboo one. I saw this one. She's 1 in 12. Well, they're all 1 in 12, except for the rare ones. Oh, please. Please. I don't think I fully grasped what this one was doing, but she's basically in a yoga pose. She's got a little base, and she's got her hands over her head. Look at her. She's so cute. Wow. Maybe. I'm trying to do this is what people do that are cool, right? I don't even know how to do this. Please focus on her. She's everything. She's like 90% of the screen. Why are you still focusing on me? Look at her. There she is. Yeah, kinda. For a second. She's got like little, looks like flowers on her outfit, and she's a bamboo stalk, and she's being a bamboo stalk. So that's cute. And she's got her little card in here too. I keep remembering I muted the sound, so. But that's her in the pose. It's so white in here. I will have to show this off again. All right, bamboo after rain is what it says. Growing, I guess. All right, we're gonna do the Peach Riot big boy, which is rock on, rise up. That's what I said. You heard me. That's what I said. Trying to make sure I don't have a bunch of trash on my desk after I'm done with this. LOL. LOL. And then this one, she liked Poppy Cutie. And she didn't like Gigi the singer. She still thought they were all cute, but that was the only one she was like, I guess I'd be like, eh. Again, I'm the one who made her say she had to pick favorites. I was like, you have to tell me so I can. So, Poppy Cutie, that's Poppy Cutie. If only it knew what this box looked like. Why is this happening? You're still not in focus. There we go, Poppy Cutie, and then Gigi the singer is the one she said she would like the least. I think she'd be happy with any of the poppies, because she really likes the poppy design. Have our little pull tab again. Boop, boop, boop. Alright. But yeah, I guess that's supposed to come off that way. I don't know if I'm doing this right. Don't look at it. Don't look at it. I almost looked at it. I don't know what that is. Why do you have things on top? Put the things on the bottom. If you open it up, then you're gonna ruin it. I can't tell what that is. Alright. She's in a bag. She's not the singer. Cute. She's got a keytar. She's got a keytar. And a rabbit stand. Who are you? Oh, so this is Frankie Sick Beats. So, but there's a little cat in here. I don't want to open this bag because it's technically hers. It's a little cat with like wings though. Like that's super cute. And then the stand that she stands on is shaped like a cat, but she doesn't even need it. She's standing right now on my table. So, but she's really cute. Oh my god. Look at her with her keytar. She's gonna make music. People are gonna love it. It's not gonna focus. I'll make I don't even know. What do I have to do to this camera to make you realize things are things? Please focus on them. Oh goodness. It's me. It's just me. There we go. There we go. There she is. Look at that girl. So pretty. Baggy pants. Says all the fun stuff on the bottom. But the reason I told her, because when she was trying to pick out what she wanted, I was like, I know the regular ones are big and that this one's gonna be smaller. And they were only like $1 different in price. And honestly, I'm torn these days. When I used to buy blind boxes, they used to be like at max $10. And so as they slowly rise up in price, I start clutching my wallet more. Like, I don't know. But we haven't bought any of these before with our own money. So, you know, for dipping our toes in, I don't think I got a bad pull. I liked what I got. They're pretty cute. I can see where I'm going to put mine on my desk. It's an exciting time. But yeah, that was our random adventure today. We also went to, it's called Van Gogh Beyond. So similar to the experience, except I don't know. I've been to the experience, can't judge it. I think the experience is only like walking more. There was 2 rooms. We thought it was more rooms than 2. We found out it was only 2 rooms. But we thought it was really fun. It's basically picture like you're stepping into a painting and the painting keeps changing. I'm making sounds right now, my bad. And it's telling like a little bit of a story at the same time. I think it said there's a total of 200 paintings incorporated into the event. I don't think we watched all of it, if I'm being perfectly honest. We stayed in the first room maybe 5 minutes. There was somebody with the camera that was like making a video with flash on in a room that's darkly lit with projectors, which no one said anything to them. And so we decided to head to the next room, which was the way bigger room, which had way more projectors and way more things happening. And they had this really cool thing where the projectors are also on the ground, but sometimes it'd act like it's casting shadows. So I thought that was kind of neat. So I think we had a lot of fun, personally. And then after that, we were right by the mall, which we hadn't been to this mall in a very long time. We were actually going to go watch a movie. We were going to go watch FNAF, but the showtime wasn't until way later. In fact, it's not even the showtime time now, and it's been a couple hours since then, so it was not meant to be. We have yet to watch the FNAF movie. I'm behind. Alright, I think this is chapter 3. Let's see. Where are we at? Yeah, so we're in chapter 3. This is the common route. We are going to pick Alfred from here and see what happens. Our very next save on the other one was Linus's route, so there's a chance this is all we need to do. Period, end of sentence. I suppose I shall ask Lord Alfred should he agree.
いい選択ね。年長者の意見は大事よ。
Here, I'll put my
そ
new
れな
friend
ら
over here.
私からも頼んでおくわ。
If you say so, my lady. I totally forgot. I made sure I was on chapter 3 and forgot to undo the timer. Here, you can sit here for now. Alright. Nice choice. Advice from someone older than you is important. I shall ask him myself too. Lily seems satisfied with my answer, and my companion was quickly decided. I apologize for taking so much of your time.
謝る必要はない。だいたい気乗りしなければ最初から断っている。
At least he's honest. I'll give him that. No need to apologize. I would have refused at onset had I not been inclined to assist. Why are you helping me out then? The reason I chose him was because he was easy to be around. He didn't engage in pointless chatter. Basically, he dislikes wasting time. It made me curious as to why he'd agreed to do this, given that I myself was doubtful as to the usefulness of this activity.
小物ということだが、お前はまず靴を選ぶべきだろう。
You're picking out accessories, aren't you? I suppose we should start with your shoes. Is that where you would start for accessories? I don't even consider shoes. I know they are, but I wouldn't even go like accessories, shoes. I would think hats, jackets, not even jackets, purses, watches, bracelets, necklaces, earrings. Why is
最
that?
近ずっとダンスの練習をしていて、足を痛めていることは知っている。靴が合っていないのが大きな原因だろう。
Oh, he's so thoughtful. I just noticed that painting in the background for the first time ever. I have no idea what it is supposed to be, but it looks like a little rabbit holding a stick. I know you injured your feet with all of that dancing. Having shoes that don't fit properly may be the primary cause.
そんなことでは、せっかくの練習も無駄になる。
All your practice will be
お
wasted
前
at
の
this
足に合っ
rate.
た靴を選ぶのは急務だ。
We need to find shoes that
歩きやすく
fit,
戻りやすい。
ones that make
そ
both
んな靴を
walking
選ぶぞ。
and dancing easier. Understood. His logical explanation made sense. Alfred had been paying attention to me more than I thought, surprisingly enough. I suppose being the oldest makes him more attentive than the others, but maybe there's another reason. The moment my sense of caution kicked in, he followed up with an unexpected remark.
と、機能重視の話をしたが、一番大切なのはお前の好みだ。
That aside, what really matters is your preference, even though I went on about practical side of things. So flamboyant,
ど
I
んな
get
デ
it.
ザインの靴がいいか、店を覗いてじっくり選ぶといい。
Look around and take your time picking out the design you like best. My preference.
私がこんなことを言うのは意外か。
Am I saying something like that really so surprising? Alfred asked irritatedly, his brow furrowed even deeper. I must have looked quite shocked. No, this isn't the case. I appreciate your thoughtfulness. Thank you. I said quickly, not wanting to upset him. I took a look at the store Alfred had pointed out.
陛下に会うまたとない機会だ。
Moreover, this is the rare opportunity to meet Her Majesty. Did she say something? I felt like Alfred had murmured something behind me as I picked out my shoes. He'd been drowned out by the street noise, though, and I hadn't caught what he had said. Probably something crazy. Oh, now we can
な
skip.
ぜ下を向いて
Hoo hoo hoo, so slow. Oh my gosh. I barely got a skip. I'm trying to fix everything on my body. Alright. Why are you looking down? Hi. Hello. Oh my gosh. I love his hair up. Oh my goodness. He looks so much better without a top hat on. I looked up and was met with a familiar frown. Well, I feel like that's the exact same outfit she has. Both times. I felt out of place and I was trying not to stand out too
間違
much.
いか。そんなことを思う必要はないな。
Out of place, you say. There's no need for such worries. Is that so? I doubt Alfred was unused. I doubt Alfred and was unsure what exactly he meant. His lips briefly twitched into a subtle smile.
ここは舞踏会だ。ということは、この場にふさわしいのは踊っているものだろう。
This is a ball. That means whomever is dancing truly belongs here. Am I wrong? It wasn't until Alfred extended his hand that I finally understood what he implied. What is he thinking? I don't get it. Should I take his hand? I hesitated, then extended my hand. Alfred grasped it firmly and pulled me towards him. Alfred led me straight to the center of the dance floor. As a waltz started to play, he gently placed a hand on my waist.
あれだけ練習もしたし、お前に合う靴も見つけただろう。せっかくだから踊っておけ。
You've practiced so much and even got shoes that fit you. Now that you're here, you may as well dance. Very well, if I must. With no other choice, I set aside previous thoughts and focused solely on keeping time with the waltz.
ステップは上手くなった。だが相変わらず笑顔がないな。
Your steps have gotten better, but there's still no smile on your face. You don't have one either, do you? The words slipped out of my mouth unbidden as I was caught up in the moment. I met Alfred's gaze nervously, fearing that I had said something wrong, but instead his eyes gleamed with amusement.
違いない。
You're not wrong. He's
どう
smiling.
した？
What's wrong? As he spoke, his expression was unusually soft. His unexpected smile took me aback. Yeah, I know. Look at this beautiful boy. Your smile is a rare sight, my lord. It took me by
お
surprise.
前は案外正直だな。こんなにもはっきりと口にするのは。
You're more honest than I imagined. I didn't expect you to speak so openly. He's more talkative than usual, too. All unnecessary thoughts seemed to have been stripped away as I moved to the cheerful rhythm. The more that happened, the closer I felt to the person I danced with. I'm probably only being honest in the moment. Tomorrow, I'll surely feel too intimidated to say anything like that.
そうか。だがそれでいいのだろうな。
I see. I suppose that's how it's meant to be, no?
なら私も
Rude.
この場限りのものと考えて、せいぜい楽しむことにしよ
In that case, I'll count it as a
Oh my
one-time
God.
experience and make the most
う。
of
苦
it.
ではない。
Dancing with you isn't a hassle. Alfred gave a small, fleeting smile. The smile vanished as if it had an illusion, leaving me with a faint sense of disappointment. What am I thinking? How ridiculous. I quickly reminded myself that harboring such feelings was a sign of nativity.
ロース、こちらいらっしゃい。
Rose, come here. Yeah. Alfred Chapter 1. We're there.
小麦粉と卵、それから。
4 eggs. What else? Nicholas had asked Charlotte and I to do some shopping, so we were out in the city. Evelyn. That's dyslexia. Evelyn usually accompanies her, but as she was busy handling our guest, I had came instead. Charlotte, watch out. I grabbed... Ooh, wait, hang on. Sorry. They decided to have a love triangle here with Lucas. Interesting. Does everybody get a love triangle? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? 8. I feel like that's more than Linus had. Interesting. I just realized I could write his full name here. Alright, Creswell. Okay. Okay. They could repeat each other. Right? No, that wouldn't. Well, it would work. No. Yes? So, all thoughts. No, anything. I would assume Lucas's is going to have Ascot as a rival. Maybe. And then Edward could have Alfred as a rival. Or Jack. Jack would be good. Jack would be a good one for him. And then Ascot. How does this work? How does this work? I grabbed her slender arm and pulled her back. Charlotte looked up from her notes and blinked, unaware that she had nearly been ran over by a carriage as she crossed the street. You can stop looking at the list now. I've memorized everything.
そうなの? すごい。いつの間に?
Really? When did you manage that? Just keep walking. It's the store we're looking for on this street.
ついてきて.
Yes, follow me. Charlotte lifted her slightly drooping head and walked on. I followed closely behind her. What a dazzling city. I felt a bit more at ease as I looked at the city's streets. The emotions I'd felt when I had first arrived here came flooding back. The winged veins that ran along the ground had become part of the cityscape. The people passing by didn't seem to pay them any mind. No matter how beautiful it looks, I can't be deceived. The glamour and scenery are a facade. Listen carefully and you can hear complaints everywhere. The carriages rolling down the streets carried lavish nobles, but a stone throw away, people were starving and crying for help in alleys that they'd never so much as glanced down. But I looked down the alley, and I saw a man and a woman facing one another, their expressions serious.
本当か? 落日の渡りガラス。奴らと共に戦えば、まっとうな生活が手に入るって。
Are you actually for real? Could we really have a decent life if we fight alongside the Twilight Raven?
信じてみましょうよ。彼らは女王に屈しないと。
I think we should believe them. They said they wouldn't yield to the queen. Twilight Ravens, is that? The menacing name rang in my ears and as I passed by. I never imagined I'd hear that name here. Bits of information I had heard and seen came to mind and the pieces started falling into place. They won't yield to the queen. That means they must be anti-royalist. Anti-royalists refer to those dissatisfied with the current government and the Fae Queen.
ところでエド、やはりライナー。
We don't do flashbacks. So this is what Linus was talking about. What had once felt like a made-up story seemed real after hearing people talking about it on the streets. Are the Mingles really rebelling against the queen? The people in the alley were shadily dressed and looked nothing like nobility. No, they don't necessarily have to be Mingles. I have to avoid jumping to conclusions and growing anxious. I still lack information. Mingles weren't the only ones suffering in this country. It wouldn't be surprising if others opposed the queen as well. The Twilight Ravens, their true identity is still a mystery, but if they're rebelling against the queen, our interests align. In that case, we could become allies. Still, I need more information, and poking around carelessly is too dangerous. How can I learn more?
着きました。
Ah, we're here. Let's see. Oh no. We'll start back at one. Before I knew it, Charlotte had turned around and stopped. She looked at me worriedly.
ここがニコラスさんに言われたお店です。
This is the story Mr. Nicholas mentioned, but I snapped out of it and put on my usual expression. What is it?
なんだかすっごく難しそうな顔をしてました。ひょっとして悩み事でもあるのかなって。
You had this really intense look on your face. Is something bothering you? Nothing in particular.
あ、その本当に
Are you sure?
私なんかに言われても頼りないですよね。だけどあなたには助けてもらってばかりだから力になれたらいいなって思って。
You must think I'm unreliable, right? But you've done so much for me. I want to be able to help you in return. The dark thrill of obtaining information that could help me achieve my goal faded when faced with Charlotte's warmth and kindness. Oh, Charlotte, the only reason I helped you was to use you to my own advantage. I had no intentions of opening up to her, but I did feel a strong urge to offer my reassurance when I saw her nervously glance my way. I'm fine, really. You're so thoughtful, Charlotte. The corners of my mouth turned up into a smile. Charlotte's eyes widened in astonishment. She didn't even blink, but then...
ぼんやり突っ立ってんなよ。
Quit standing in the way, fool. A boy ran up from behind and bumped into Charlotte, who staggered and fell towards me. I caught her just in
あ
time.
りがとう。ごめんなさい。
Thank you, sorry. No need to thank me. Besides, I caught Charlotte with one hand and grabbed the boy's arm with the other. I feel like I've seen him somewhere before.
なんだよ、話せよ。俺は急いでんだ。道の真ん中に突っ立ってたそっちが悪いんだろ。
What the hell? Let go. I'm in a hurry. It's your fault for standing in the way. You're right, and I apologize for that. I'm sorry. But you were walking along the side of the road trying to stay out of sight until the very last moment. Then once you spotted her, you walked down the middle of the sidewalk and deliberately bumped into her.
言いがかりだね。
What the heck? That's totally uncalled for. Oh, plain innocent. Then show me what's hidden in your pocket.
何のことだよ。
What are you on about? Don't bother denying it. I saw you. Now return whatever is in your pocket.
ほらよ。
Whatever, here. The boy pulled out Charlotte's wallet from his pocket and threw it at me as hard as he could.
あ、財布？嘘。私全然気づかなかった。
My wallet? No way, I didn't even notice. Coins tumbled out of the wallet when I caught it scattering noisily around us.
大事な金だろ。しっかり拾えよな。
That's your master's precious money, right? Better pick it all up. As soon as my grip on him loosened, the boy broke free and bolted into the crowd. Wait.
もういいの。
It's fine. I was about to run after him, but Charlotte held me back. I stopped and watched her crouch to collect the coins, apologizing to passerbyers. Seeing her lack the will to confront such unfairness irritated me. It reminded me of my past self. Was that truly the right call? If you went after that boy, you could have forced him to apologize properly. I knew I sounded harsher than usual, but I couldn't stop myself from speaking up.
いいんです。あなたのおかげでお財布は帰ってきたし、それに。
It's fine, really. I got my wallet back thanks to you.
きっと
Moreover,
あの子だってやりたくてやったわけじゃない。お金がなくてお腹が空いて仕方なくだと思う。
I'm sure that child didn't mean it like that. He was probably out of money and starving. He had no choice.
私も同じだったかもしれない。
I might have done the same thing.
アルフレッド様がいなければきっと同じだったと思うから。
I mean, I would have ended up like him if I hadn't been for Lord Alfred. Alfred, as soon as his name was mentioned, I pictured his displeased face, his brows furrowed. From what I gathered so far, it seems like she's from House Creswell, and apparently she knows a great deal about Alfred. There's a chance I can find out more about Alfred, things I wouldn't otherwise learn. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel guilty using her, but gathering intel about Alfred was my priority at the moment. As I bent down to help gather the coins, I asked a question nonchalantly. What makes you think you'd have been like that, child? I won't push you if you don't feel like talking.
ちょっと緊張しちゃって。大丈夫。あなたになら話せるよ。
Oh no, I'm just a little nervous. I can talk to you about it though.
あのね、私は
Nanone?
クレスウェルの一族の出なの。
The thing is, I was from House Creswell.
私は生まれた時から妖精の力が弱くて、お父さんやお母さんをとてもがっかりさせた。
However, my fey power has been weak since I was born. I disappointed my mother
本
and
当に
father.
こんな性格だし、周りのみんなに呆れられて居場所もなくて。
To make matters worse, my personality led to everyone getting tired of me. I had nowhere to go.
ある日、一族から追い出されることになったの。
One day I was kicked out of the household. I know the five houses expel those with weaker powers within their clan. I remember how maids from the other households had called her a mingle. They must have known Charlotte's power was so weak that House Creswell had discarded her. And yet her expression was serene as she recounted her situation.
行くあてもなくて路頭に迷いそうになった時、アルフレッド様が手を差し伸べてくれたの。
When I had nowhere to go and had nearly lost my way, Lord Alfred reached out to me. But isn't Lord Alfred the one who approves of the exile as head of the household?
そうだね。それも事実。でもアルフレッド様は他の一族より追放を行わないんだよ。
That's true, but Lord Alfred is different. He doesn't carry out the exile like other households do. If anything, he seems reluctant to exile anyone at all. You're saying he doesn't want to discard people.
それで私の料理の腕を買って 新しいキッチンメイドを探してたバーンスタイン家に紹介してくれたの。
My cooking skills impressed him, so he introduced me to House Bernstein, who was looking for a new kitchen maid.
それがなかったら今頃私はエデンで暮らしてた。
If not for that, I'd
生きるため
likely
に
be living
盗
in
みだって
Eden
していた
now.
かもしれない。
I might have even turned to theft just to
う
survive.
ん、私はきっとあの子みたいにはできなかった。盗みも何もできないままのたれ死んでたと思う。
On second thought, I could never have been like that child. I probably would have died in the streets unable to steal a thing. Is that why you can't bring yourself to blame that boy?
そう。こうして生きていられるのはたまたま私にアルフレッド様がチャンスを与えてくれた。
It
それ
is.
だけだから。
The only reason I'm alive today is because Lord Alfred gave me a chance.
名前は
What's your name?
ではロー
Rose?
ズ。ライナスを見かけたら応接室に。
Oh, yeah. Making sure it's all flashbacks.
あ
Mhm,
あ、
mhm,
いや、
mhm, mhm, mhm. Alfred Creswell, he might have saved Charlotte, but he could also be someone I needed to kill. But if what she said is true, there may be a crack in his armor I can break through. I decided to keep it in mind for now. Just because he was kind to an exile, it didn't mean he wasn't involved in that incident. Afterwards, we used the coins we'd retrieved to finish our shopping and return to the Bernstein mansion. I confirmed what sort of relationship Charlotte and Alfred had while out on the city. I might have gained information, but things won't change overnight. Lily passed by as I swept around the table in the garden. She stopped, then walked towards me happily.
ローズ、ちょうどよかった。
Rose, you're just the person I need.
話し相手がいなくて退屈していたところなの。よければお茶でもどうかしら。
I had no one to talk to and got bored. Would you like to join me for some tea? Sitting at the same table as the lady of the house would be unthinkable under normal circumstances. I was tolerated, however, as Lily regularly regularly invited me. Shackling off, shackling? Slacking off too much might make people resent me, but I don't want to miss the chance to hear Lily talk about the queen. Understood, my lady, I shall prepare the tea. I bowed my head and made my way inside the mansion. Last time Lily and I had a chance to talk like this was during the debutante ball, which had felt like a child's storybook.
そうだ。ああ。
The true meaning of the queen's words was still a mystery. That's why I wanted to hear Lily's thoughts on the matter. I quickly prepared the tea and returned to her side, making sure to never let my motives show. I poured Lily tea and took a seat across from her like she wanted, then spoke
いつもならエ
Clearly.
デが付き合ってく
then she spoke
れるのだけ
cheerily.
れど、今は御家会期と博覧会の準備で忙しいでしょ。
Ed usually accompanies me, but he's busy with the Five Houses conference in preparation for the exhibition.
可愛い弟を姉として応援しているけれど、こういう時はとても退屈ね。だからあなたがいてくれて嬉しいわ。
As his sister, I'm cheering my dear little brother on, of course, but it's terribly boring at times like this. That's why I'm glad you're here. You're far too kind. Lily responded with a smile, then reached for her cup and sipped her tea. Even her subtle movements held a certain elegance, making it impossible for me to take my eyes off of her. It made sense why she was so popular in high society and known as Madonna Lily. Evelyn mentioned that she'd received a number of marriage proposals
あな
too.
たももうすっかりうちになれたようね。あのニックがずいぶんあなたを信頼しているとビルが言っていたわ。
It looks like you've settled in nicely. Phil told me that Nick has come to trust you a great deal. It's all thanks to you that the others treat me so kindly.
エブリンやシャルロッテとはどうかしら。うまくやれていて。
How are things with Evelyn and Charlotte? Are you getting along well? Yes, both are dependable mentors. Lily tilted her head. That simple gesture seemed almost artistic, but I felt slightly uneasy at her innocent, untrained aura.
あら、
Untainted aura.
先輩あなたたちはお友達だと思っていたのに。 とっても仲が良さそうだから。
Mentors. I thought you were friends. You seem so
も
close.
しかして気を使う理由でもあるのかしら。私でよければ話を聞くわよ。
Is there a reason you're being so formal? I'm a good listener if you'd like to share. Lily leaned towards me slightly and spoke in a hushed tone, as if she were sharing a secret. I shook my head in response. Thank you for your concern, but there is no need to worry. Lily clearly took a special interest in me. Being close to her made it easy to gather information, but that also worked both ways. I tried avoiding topics centered around me, so my intention would remain undiscovered. I lack both the experience and ability as a servant of House Bernstein to call them my friends. That's why I call them my mentors. It's a reminder to myself.
まあ前から思っていたけれど、あなたは優秀な上に本当に慎み深いのね。
I've thought this for a while now, but not only are you capable, you're also very humble. I'm constantly learning new things from them. For instance, about the people attending the Five House Conference. I totally missed that word. I glanced at Lily. Her eyes were narrowed, and she seemed to prompt me to continue. I was careful to make it sound like idle chatter. They're important figures for House Bernstein. To provide them perfect hospitality, I need to know their preferences, characteristics, and relationships with one another. Describing it this way might allow me to gather new information from Lily, something no one else knew. I waited for her response.
熱心で心強いわ。
Ah, how passionate and dependable you are.
そうね。御家会議に参加しているのはこの国の未来を担う人たちばかり。お世話する上で深く知ることは確かに大切ね。
It's true, the people attending the Five House Conference are the ones who will shape the country's future. Knowing them so you can serve them well is definitely important. Lily smiled, her delicate fingers resting on her chin. When she directed her gaze towards the mansion, I followed suit.
ならこれはもう知っているかしら。エドとライナス卿は幼なじみなの。だからお互い気の置けない存在なのよ。
I'm not sure if you heard this, but Ed and Lord Linus are childhood friends. That's why they're so comfortable around one
子
another.
供の頃からよく手合わせをしてはどちらが勝った負けたと話していたわ。
They
私
often
が
sparred
思う
as
に
children,
実力は互角といったところね。
always talking about who came out on top. In my opinion, their abilities are equal. Lily chuckled, finding it endearing. I recalled how relaxed they were around one another and nodded in
それ
agreement.
からアスコット卿。あなたも実際体験したと思うけれど、いつも女性には積極的でしょ？
Then there's Lord Ascot. He's always quite assertive with women, isn't he? You're probably experienced
あ
it
ちらこ
firsthand.
ちらで手を出していると聞くわ。だけど、ティア様には随分信頼されていて、他の貴族からも一目置かれる存在よ。
I heard he's quite the ladies' man, and yet Lady Tia places quite a lot of trust in him. He's respected by other
ルー
aristocrats
カス
too.
卿は、私もそれほど知らないの。社交界にはめったに姿を現さない方だから、
Lord
ごめんな
Lucas,
さいね。
I don't know much about him, I'm afraid. He hardly ever appears in social scenes. I'm sorry, I can't help you more. No, it was very insightful, thank you. Despite my words of thanks, I was disappointed. I hadn't learned anything new from Lily, but then...
ああ、でもね。アルフレッド卿のことなら彼よりは知っているわ。
Ah, but I know more about Lord Alfred than he thinks. Lord Alfred?
ええ。御家会議でもエドのサポートをしてくださっているの。とても頼もしいお方よ。エドも彼をとても慕っているわ。
Yes, he helps Ed a lot with the Five Houses conference. He's very dependable. Ed holds him in high regard.
だからかしら。会議が始まってから二人ともいつにも増して話をしている気が。
I wonder if that's why they've been talking more than usual since the conference
リリー
started.
様
Lady Lily! Philip appeared out of the blue.
あれなんだローズもここだったのか
What is this? Rose is here too. I thought I may learn something, but this is as far as it goes. I buried the frustration of having our conversation cut short and kept my expression neutral. I nodded at Philip silently.
ご歓談中失礼しますそろそろ御家会議が終わりますしもういい時間ですお茶会も切り上げ時では
Pardon me for interrupting the chat. The Five Houses conference is about to finish and it's getting late. Shouldn't we wrap up the tea party?
まあフィルってば、せっかくこの子と楽しくお話をしていたのに。でもそうね。
Phil, there you go again. I was having such a lovely chat with this sweet girl, but you have a point. Lily stood leisurely, opened her parasol, and looked my way.
素敵な時間をありがとう。よければまた私とお話をしてね。絶対よ。
Spending time with you was a pleasure. Let's chat again sometime, yeah? You'd better not forget. Absolutely. I'd love to, as long as you're all right with it. Lily turned and walked off. Philip followed behind her. The two gradually faded into the distance. Alfred and Edward have been talking more than usual lately. Is there some deeper meaning behind it, or are they merely talking about meetings? I need to investigate. I watched Lily walk away, holding a somber gratitude to her for the valuable information. The next
本
day,
日もご家の皆様がいらっしゃる予定だ。各自そのつもりで気を引き締めて仕事に臨むように。
members of the five houses will be here today. Stay focused and ready to take on your task, everyone.
それから本日、リリーお嬢様はご気分が優れず静養中だ。朝食も必要ないとのこと。
Also,
い
Lady
つも以
Lily
上に
is
ご
feeling under the
心を
weather.
煩わせることがないように。
She is resting and won't be needing breakfast. Make sure to not cause her any discomfort.
承知しました。
Understood. Everyone headed to their post following Nicholas's instructions. Evelyn called out to me.
今日も忙しくて目が回りそうね。さっさと取り掛かって終わらせちゃいましょう。
Today is so hectic that I'm getting dizzy. We better get started and finish up as soon as possible. Agreed.
ね、あんたの掃除の腕はもう知ってるわ。持ち場を分担して効率よく進めちゃわない？まず私は玄関ホール。そっちは
How
庭。
many tasks could be in the garden? I've seen your cleaning skills. How about we split tasks to get through them quicker? I'll handle the entrance hall. You take the garden. Sound good? You're right. That would definitely speed things up. Let's do it. Cleaning duty offered a servant like me the perfect opportunity to observe the estate without raising suspicion, and since I would have the chance to be alone, there was no reason to turn down Evelyn's plan.
こっちが早く片付いたら手伝いに行くわ。まあ、あんたには必要ないかもしれないけど。
If I manage to complete my work early, I'll come and help, though I doubt you'll need it until then. I bid Evelyn a quick farewell as she swiftly attended to her duties, then I made my way to the garden. How disappointing no one's around. Perhaps I should have opted for cleaning the entrance hall instead. I need to snap out of it. Standing here will get me nowhere. I should finish up here quickly, enjoyed Evelyn. I walked through the garden, sweeping away the fallen leaves, my mind lingering on the four people who would soon arrive. Then,
お前は
aren't you? A voice called out unexpectedly, prompting me to look up. Alfred. So he's arrived already? But why is he here in the garden? He was the man who had saved Charlotte's life, someone Edward admired, and a person I might have to take vengeance upon. Alfred seemed equally surprised. Realizing he was waiting for me to speak, I reminded myself of my position and replied, Lord Alfred, what brings you here? Please allow me to escort you into the
いや
mansion.
結構だ。少し気分転換をしているんでな。
No need, I merely am taking a moment to clear my head. A lit cigarette was held between his fingers.
じきに戻る。私への気遣いは無用だ。
I'll go back inside. You needn't trouble yourself on my behalf.
なんだまだ何か
What now? Do you need something? I must kindly ask that you refrain from smoking within the estate. It may harm Lady Lily's health. The silence was deafening. However, considering Lily's well-being was only natural as a loyal servant of House Bernstein, I had considered this behavior to be the most fitting from the beginning, especially when it's in the presence of a man as earnest as Alfred. But I fear I may have provoked him this time. I couldn't afford to lose his favor here, so I bowed my head. My deepest apologies. It was inappropriate of me to make such a bold remark to the honorable head of House Creswell.
そうだ
No, you're right.
な。立場など関係ない。お前の言っていることは正しい。
Our status doesn't matter. What you said is completely
軽い
correct.
気分転換のつもりだったが、失礼した。何より人の屋敷でタバコをたしなむなど、無礼だったな。
I was only hoping for a quiet break, but I might have acted inappropriately. Smoking at someone else's house is indeed disrespectful. Alfred calmly put out the cigarette in the ashtray. Where's the ashtray from? Acknowledged his error with no sign of displeasure.
バーンスタイン家は実に主思いな使用人を雇えたようだ。
Oh, sucking up to me. House Bernstein is fortunate to have a maid so considerate of their lady's well-being. You're far too kind. Thank goodness, it looks like I made the right choice. I let out a quiet sigh of relief. Soon enough, it was Alfred's turn to ask something of
タバ
me.
コの代わりと言ってはなんだが、少し話し相手になってもらっても。もちろん、仕事をしながらで構わない。
Though it pales in comparison to a cigarette, would you mind indulging me with a little conversation? Oh god. Would you mind talking to me? Jeez. Do feel free to continue your duties, though. I straightened at this point at this most fortunate request. His brow was as furrowed as ever, yet there was no malice in his gaze he cast upon me. He's kindly providing me with an opportunity, so I should be able to learn more about him without arousing suspicion. Are you sure you wish to converse? Lord Edward is also here at the estate.
いい。5家が集まると、博覧会か事件のことばかりになる。いい加減あいつらの顔も見飽きてきたところだ。
It's fine. Whenever the five houses gather, we always discuss the exhibition or something of other events. I've grown quite tired of their constant
ルー
presence.
カスのように職務を放棄する気はないが、
I'm not one to abandon
私
my
もたまには息抜き
responsibilities
が
like
必要
Lucas,
でな。
but even I require a
だか
break.
ら、
Thus, I seek your company for a change of
お前のよ
pace. I didn't realize I was reading over him. He was pausing so much. Very well. If I can be of any assistance, I'd be most pleased, but I will proceed with my duties, of course. Sweep, sweep, sweep. His sharp eyes, which instilled fear in many among nobility, narrowed. It was as if he could see through anything. Even so, he seemed considerate when we were at the ball. I suppose his appearance simply gives off a fearsome impression. I boldly turned my gaze to Alfred, resentment smoldering deep within me. He could be one of my enemies
お前
after
は
all.
なぜバーンスタイン家に？
Tell me, what is it that draws you to serve House Bernstein? I was introduced by Miss Verde, who once worked here.
会ったことがある。彼女の紹介か。しかし、ヘンダーソンも褒める腕前だ。他の屋敷へ行こうとは思わなかったのか？
I recall meeting her. Then it was her her recommendation. Even so, have you considered serving another household? Henderson speaks so highly of you. Not in the least. I couldn't imagine a more honorable place to serve
バ
than
ー
here.
ンスタインは5家筆頭。他の貴族とは格が違うと考えれば道理か。それで、今はどんな仕事を？
Given that House Bernstein is the pinnacle of the five houses, it's only logical that their rank stands above others. So what is it you're tasked with these days? Cleaning, sewing, laundry, and cooking almost slipped out. Then I remembered the firm instructions barring me from the kitchen duties.
どうした？
What is it?
寮を。
Cooking?
寮？
No, cooking is something delicate. Is a somewhat delicate matter. Regardless, I take on whatever is needed. This includes keeping Lady Lily company during tea
理
time.
事長の。
Her tea time. Alfred clearly sought to uncover something about me. This exchange was far from the change of pace he claimed it to be. Naturally, my guard rose. I couldn't let him notice, though, as it would render this opportunity fruitless. Then I suppose I should make my advance. Indeed, thanks to Lady Lily, I had the immense honor of meeting Her Majesty at the debutante ball. It was like a dream. I normally avoided calling that woman Her Majesty at all costs, yet here I was, saying it deliberately, engaging Alfred's reaction.
そうだろうな。陛下は外にお出になられること自体、今は少ない。ましてあのような機会は
I see your point.
本来ありえないことだ。
Her Majesty makes public appearances seldom these days. Such an occasion would normally be unthinkable.
それにしても、あの方のあんな様子を見るのは久しぶりだったな。
Come to think of it, it has been a while since I saw her in such a manner. He must be talking about when she asked if we had enough mingles. He's being intentionally vague. The very notion that he'd believe I'd exposed my own flaws is rather insulting. Alfred was most likely trying to uncover the sentiment I held towards the Queen. His eyes seemed sharper than usual as he waited for my response. I couldn't falter. Is that so? I must admit, I am once again struck with admiration for Her Majesty. She even shows consideration for the working class. a class of people who do manual labor for living wages. They are hired by the middle and upper classes. If a humane mingle or former demi-fate does not possess any particular talents or creative genius, they join this class. The queen's behavior was certainly most unusual. However, I am a mere servant. I don't need to and should not be aware of that. The safest course was to blindly accept Edmund and ask God's word and feign belief that the queen truly had our best interest at
そう
heart.
か。そう感じたんだな。
I see, so
お前は
that's how you feel. Never mind.
ざれ言だった。気にしないでくれ。
It was nothing but foolish chatter. Play it no
とに
heed.
かく、お前のような優秀な者がいれば、グランドアルビオンは安泰だな。
In any case, the country will remain secure as long as capable people like you exist in Grand Albion. I'm unworthy of such praise, but thank you nonetheless. I couldn't help but harbor conflicted thoughts. I'd become so adept at lying that it came as naturally as breathing. Nevertheless, it wasn't time for such concerns. I had to focus on gathering information from the man before me. I averted my gaze. I'd once practiced the art of appearing troubled, a subtle gesture that encourages others to speak. Actually, never mind.
どうした？何かあるの
What is it? Do you need something? Alfred, who had been watching me closely, mistook the change in my expression as anxiety and asked me a
今言
question.
いかけただろう。とても何もないようには見えないが。
You were about to say something, weren't you? It certainly seems like something was on your mind.
こうして話をしているのも何かの縁だろう。思うことがあるなら話してみればいい。
There's likely a reason we're engaged in this conversation. If you have something to say, please say it. Actually, Alfred listened intensely, a serious look on his face. I pretended to hesitate, then finally spoke. I've heard Fremdelins are invited to the upcoming exhibition. While it is most likely for diplomatic reasons, the possibility that there might be troublemakers leaves me concerned for Her Majesty. I fear something could happen to such a kind soul. I was curious about your thoughts on that matter, Lord Alfred, though I know it may be too bold of me to ask. I said something that normally never would have crossed my mind, all in the hopes of learning Alfred's thoughts. I felt a bit uneasy, wondering if I had overstepped the mark. However, Alfred smiled politely, his lips curling up gracefully.
お前の懸念はこの国の民として最もだ。
Such worry is only natural for a citizen of this
だが
country.
安心するといい。陛下を害する不届き者は御家が必ず始末する。
Rest assured, the 5 houses will take care of any wrongdoers who pose a threat to Her Majesty. After Alfred made his statement, I decided to make another move. Show concern for his safety, pretend to be reassured, act like I'm still worried. That's too many options. That is so many options. Like, wait. Show him concern for his safety. Show concern for his safety. Pretend to be reassured. Act like I'm still worried. Let's try this. I'm relieved to hear that, however, you're a figure of utmost significance to our nation, Lord Alfred. Please don't neglect your own safety. A slight smile tugged at my lips as I took on the persona of a compassionate young maiden. I waited for Alfred's response. He's more attractive in his hat. I just said the opposite, but hear me out. Hear me out. I was talking specifically about this look. Look at him. Look at this man with his hair up in a ponytail. Like, oh my god. I like that better. I like that better. But like this, I don't know. He reminds me of the Mad Hatter when he has his giant top hat on. I'm concerned about. Oh, that was 2. I'm sucker for a man in a uniform. A top hat is not a uniform. That is a top hat. That is a going out hat. A uniform. A uniform is like a police officer's uniform, or like a chef uniform, or a postal worker. I imagined that he'd furrow his brow in response to my needless concern, but to my surprise, he tensed as if something weighed on his mind. Lord Alfred.
ああ、いや、心遣いに感謝する。
Does he recognize me? It's nothing. I truly appreciate your
だ
kindness.
が、たとえこの身が危うくなろうと、有事の際には、この国を守るという御家の務めを
Like a
果たす
captain or a colonel. That's still a different hat. You're not getting me there. That is a tiny hat. That is like a little hat. It goes whoop. That's not a top hat. It doesn't go like this. It goes whoop. Different. I'm determined to fulfill the duty of a 5 houses and protect this country in times of need, even if my life is endangered. Like a top hat is I'm going to a masquerade. I'm going to the opera house. And even then, no one wears them these days, so it's kind of hard to say that's what they're for. It's just like, just exist now. His previous expression returned to his face. A fleeting discomfort passed over me, though I didn't understand why. And while those who coveted personal gain would stand behind Alfred's words, my certainty grew that I wasn't one of them. When I considered this, that his loyalty might tie him to the Altabeek incident, only distrust stirred within me.
ちょうどいい息抜きを過ごせた。礼を言う。そろそろ私は会議へ向かう。
This was a much needed break. Thank you. I should go get to the meeting now. Let me escort you to the
いや、
room.
必要ない。これ以上私に付き合わせるのも申し訳ないからな。仕事に戻ってくれ。
That won't be necessary, maid. I'd feel bad for making you accompany me any longer, maid. Feel free to return to your work, maid. That's what it feels like. I lowered my head slightly, watching as Alfred turned and walked away. My gaze was fixed upon his retreating back. It'll be all right. I didn't provide him with any answers that could raise suspicion, though I doubt he was here for a simple idle chat. Alfred Creswell, being a member of the five houses, he's definitely someone I should watch out for. In our conversation, more like one-sided questioning, I didn't manage to gather any new information about him. I didn't give away any information about myself, but I did manage to get another from him. I didn't manage to get another from him either. A wave of shame rose within me. I bit my lip in frustration. I refocused, gripping the broom, and resumed my duties. I noticed someone walking towards the mansion's entrance. Lucas, is he trying to leave again? The meeting hasn't even started yet. If I suggest seeing him off, I might have a chance to interact with him, even if only for a moment. He openly showed disdain towards others, even the fellow 5 house members. He's difficult to handle. I wanted to gain something after having failed with Alfred. This wasn't some redemption or whatever, though. Yeah, flirt with him. I grabbed the broom and dustpan, then headed to Lucas. His shoulders tensed, perhaps sensing me getting closer, yet he didn't halt his steps. Viracil, hello! Lord Lucas, are you returning home?
僕に構うな。
Leave me alone. Classic. Lucas picks up his pace, attempting to get away from me. Still, the same as ever. It's hard to make conversation with someone like him without being persistent. As a servant of House Burstein, I simply cannot leave you alone. If you're going, then I shall see you out.
どうせ嫌だと言ってもついてくるんだろう。なら勝手にすればいい。
I know you'll still follow me whether I like it or not. Do whatever you want. Despite his dismissive remarks, his steps slowed a little. I adjusted my pace to match his, keeping my distance. I chose my next words carefully, determined not to let this rare opportunity slip by me. Lord Alfred has returned to the estate. Is it alright if you don't attend the meeting?
僕がいなくとも会議は回る。これ以上無駄に人に関わって無意な時間を過ごしたくない。
It'll still go on without me. I don't want to waste any more time engaging with people. But you are the heir of House Sylvian. I'd imagine you're a necessary participant in the 5 Houses conference.
その時期投資というのはやめてくれ。僕は一度もなると言った覚えはない。うんざりなんだ。そういうのは。
It's a bit gruffy of you, I think. Stop calling me the heir. I never said I'd take on that role. I'm fed up with it, all of it. I instinctively held my breath as Lucas let out his emotions. He stopped in his tracks. I did the same, lowering my head. I'm truly sorry.
いや、こちらも謝罪する。だがお前も必要以上に僕に関わろうと。
No, I apologize as well. If you're trying to be involved with me more than you should. Lucas turned around as he spoke and fixed his gaze on me, just as he had when we'd first met. Lord Lucas?
とにかく僕は当主がどうとか国がどうとか興味がない。
He looks a little concerned, right? Anyways, I couldn't care less about being the head of the house or what happens to this
ど
country.
んな奴らにも関わりたくないんだ。ピュアになること以外。
I don't want anything to do with people like them. The only thing that matters is becoming a pure fae. Everything else is pointless. Becoming a pure fae? It doesn't matter how strong of a demi-fae he is. That's impossible. Lucas sounded so genuine, though. It didn't come across as a joke.
喋りすぎた。それもこれも全てお前のせいだからな。
I've said too much. It's all your fault. You really throw me off. He was difficult to approach, but he could communicate just fine. This was another big step forward, just like when he helped me with dance practice. I don't really understand what he's talking about, but I might as well ask some more questions since I came this far. I tried to carry on the conversation, keeping an eye on Lucas's expression. I had to be more careful with my word of choice. I've never heard of anyone being able to turn into a pure fae. Is that even possible?
確かにな。そんな事例はない。だが、不可能とも言い切れないだろう。まだ誰も方法を知らないだけということもある。
Isn't being a pure fae pretty bad? Yes. You kind of lose your emotions when you're a pure fae. You are like a brick wall at times, and you're not so bad with murder, from my understanding, based on our other route when she became more pure fae-y. She was like death, so I assume it's like that. Indeed, no such case has been recorded, but that doesn't mean it's impossible. It might just be that no one's figured it out yet. He probably understands that it's nothing but a childish dream, but why does he want to become a pure fae so badly in the first place? I decided to ask the question that was already on the tip of my tongue. I believe you already possess considerable power, so why do you want to become a pure fae so badly? I observed him, resolving to end the conversation and quietly see him off if I upset him again. Lucas answered, however, frowning.
キルナノーグへ行くためだ。
I want to go to Tiranog. His unexpected response surprised me. Tiranog, it was located beyond the place where the bluebells bloomed in the full glory, a land of eternal spring where only pure fae resided. So that's why he wants to be a pure fae. Only pure fae can pass beyond that border.
現世とは比べ物にならない世界。さぞ美しいはずだ。
A world unlike anything in the mortal realm, it must be unimaginably beautiful. Lucas wore an unusual, serene expression. It was as though he was imagining a future in which his wish had been granted. However, this only lasted for a moment. An annoying crease soon formed between his brows.
おい、わざわざ質問に答えてやったんだ。アルフレッドの前でこの話題は出すなよ。
Listen, I took the time to respond to all of your questions. Don't ever bring this up in front of Alfred.
どうせまたサリバン家はどうするだ。
Nice.
ゴケとしての責務を果たせだなんだとうるさくなる。
He'd just start
するだけで
going on about what House Sullivan should do, carrying out our duties as the five houses, yada yada. It's such a pain to even think about. His tone made it clear just how much he despised being scolded. I mulled over how I should react. Agree, object, don't respond. Oh, goodness. Well, Understood. Got him. Got him. I don't know if... We'll play this out and go back and try not agreeing. If he discovers that I mentioned it to anyone, he would surely refuse to speak to me again. That would be a problem, so I assured him I wouldn't tell anyone. Lucas watched me cautiously. Do not trust the words of a servant.
別にそういうわけじゃない。
It's not
とに
that.
かく約束した以上、言ったことは守れよ。
Either way, you made a promise, you better keep it.
ただでさえ会議だなんだと日々面倒なのに。これ以上あの男と関わりたくないんだ。
I already have a hard time with all the meeting and other hassles. I don't want anything more to do with that man. As far as I can tell, Lord Alfred seems to have a deep sense of duty. It's understandable that he'd be strict about work.
こちらにとっては全く迷惑な話だな。
He's a nuisance.
合家なんてものでなければ絶対に関わりたくない。
If we weren't both parts of the 5 houses, I'd have nothing to do with him. Lucas's gaze lowered slightly.
そもそもあの時、共犯になってしまったことすら。
If only I hadn't become an accomplice back then. Huh.
お前には関係ない話だ。
This has nothing to do with you.
これで満足だろう。僕はもう行く。見送りはいいからついてくるな。
What did you accomplish last time? Are you satisfied now? I'm leaving. No need to see me off. Or don't follow me. Lucas walked off, not waiting for a reply. I lowered my head and listened to his footsteps fade, realizing it'd be wise not to keep them. I performed my duties as a maid without a hitch, but my mind was focused on one thing. Alfred and Lucas aren't accomplices? What did he mean by back then? Could it be?
大丈夫よ。心配している。
We don't do flashbacks. The terror of that day resurfaced against my will. Before I knew it, my fists were tightly clenched. I'll talk to John and see what he thinks. After I decided on my next step, I raised my head. I didn't have the luxury of relaxing. A few days later, I stopped by Goneril's store while out shopping in the city. John came out from the back, not the owner. I filled him in on Alfred and Lucas. So they're
その言い
accomplices.
方からして二人で手を取って良い行いをしたってわけじゃなさそうだな。
From the way you're saying it, it doesn't look like they work on anything good together. I recalled the unpleasant thought I had when I first heard the word. It was merely a guess, but I decided to share it nonetheless. Maybe it's related to what happened at Eltpeak. Maybe Alfred and Lucas were in the village back then and they became accomplices by sharing some of the role of the event. Am I overthinking this?
いや、あり得るだろうな。
No, but it's a possibility, but it's not like the only
否定はできない。
possibility.
ただ、断定するにも情報が足りないな。
That's possible, and I know it's merely speculation, but we can't rule it out. Still, there isn't enough information to be
ボケ
sure.
は国の守り手。いろいろ修羅場を踏んでる。大きな声では言えないことでも、利害が一致して多少手を染めていてもおかしくない。
The 5 houses defend the nation. They've been in many battles. Even if they can't admit it, it wouldn't be surprising if they got their hands dirty when their interests align.
だからルーカスのあの時、共犯という言葉がエルトビークで何かした。
That's why I feel like we're jumping to conclusions way too fast. We can't assume Lucas was referring to Eltpeak incident. You have a point. But it's clear that there's something those two are guilty of. I'll look into it a bit more than when the chance arises.
十分気をつけろよ。ちなみにアルフレッドの情報ならいくつかこっちで掴んだものがある。
Alright, make sure you're careful. I'll also gather some information about Alfred on my end.
奴が当主を務めるクレスウェル家だが、どうも最近雲行きが怪しいらしい。社交界や貴族間での発言力が落ちているそうだ。
The Creswell family has hit a bit of a rough patch recently. I've heard their influence in the social sphere are among the nobles are fading. This was hard to believe given what I knew about Alfred and the 5
もちろん
houses.
御家としての地位自体は揺らいでない。女王も竹もクレスウェル自体をないがしろにしている。
Their
というわけでは
position
ないよ。
as one of the 5 houses is secure, of course. The queen and her houses aren't disregarding House Creswell as a
だけ
whole.
ど、ここのところ他の貴族たちはバーンスタインやウォードの方を詣でてる。権力にこびる奴らの動きは正直なもんだな。
But recently, other nobles have been visiting House Bernstein and Ward. It's pretty obvious how those who seek power are acting. I wonder what the reason behind that could be. Are they trying to get closer to the next head of the houses?
悪いが、その理由まではつかめてない。だけど、クレスウェル家、つまりアルフレッドは何かでかい爆弾を抱えてる。
haven't gotten to the bottom of it, but House Creswell or Alfred himself seems to harbor a massive secret, one that could shake up the entire
それ
household.
が分かればアルフレッドに近づくきっかけを得られるかもしれない。
If we can figure out what it is, it might give us a chance to get closer to Alfred. John's comment reminded me of the discussion that took place during the Five Houses conference. Though the Five Houses weren't at odds, their different stances made it clear they weren't of one mind. This was obvious from what I had seen of their conversations. Would focusing on one person rather than gathering info from all of them be better? It could be beneficial if I gain their trust. Goneril returned to the shop as I mulled over my next move.
おやお嬢ちゃん、いいところにいたね。ちょうど鮮度のいい情報を掴んできたところだ
Well
よ。
now, what luck! You're here! I've got some fresh news to share with you. I glanced at John, then turned my attention to Goneril. She settled into her usual seat, took out a pipe, and lit it. The ravens have been unusually busy lately. Whoops.
渡りガラスの動きが随分とまあ活発になってる。
She took such a pause.
例の博覧会狙いで連中本当に何か起こすつもりなのか。
Is this serious about the exhibition? Are they seriously gonna make a move?
まあ博覧会を狙う奴らの考えもわかるさ。最近じゃ女王はほとんど下々の前に姿を見せないんだから。
Well, I understand why they targeted the exhibition. The queen has hardly shown herself in public lately. They probably don't want to miss the chance. The queen had only rarely came to events in recent years, despite making an appearance at the debutante ball. The queen would surely attend the exhibition, appearing before a crowd of
こと
commoners.
を起こすなら千載一遇のチャンスってわけさ。
If they're going to make a move, this is a golden chance. I had no idea why or what they were after, but it didn't matter as long as they didn't hinder my objective. If our interests aligned, I'd even consider teaming up with them. I can always report them to the royalist. If they become a hindrance to throw them off balance, I won't let anyone get in the way of my goal, no matter who they are. A royalist, a faction that supports the Fae Queen as their absolute sovereign. House Ward is their representative. Dun, dun, dun.
だが安心するといい。
No. I thought about what Alfred had said back in the garden. He seemed to be a royalist at first glance, but there was a strange, uncomfortable feeling I couldn't explain. Something's bothering me. I don't even know what it is or why I feel this way. I still can't put my finger on it. I knew there was no point in thinking about it any longer. Instead, I focused on listening to Goneril and John. The next few days passed peacefully. I carried on my duties calmly and flawlessly until Alfred called out to me while I'm visiting the estate. Why?
今日も見事な働きぶりだな。ああ、この間のような真似はしていないから安心しろ。
Impressive work. As always, don't worry, I'm not going to do what I did last time. What did you do last time? He opened his hand to show me that he wasn't smoking. Oh, okay. I realized what he was trying to say as I watched him lean against the window. I see now, he's asking me to keep him company again. I had no right to decline, having been the one who urged him to cut back on smoking. I had no intention of turning him down, of course, and turned to face him. I'm flattered by your compliments. The information I had hoped to gain from Alfred had grown exponentially since we had last met and now resembled a mountain. For instance, whether he is truly Lucas's accomplice and House Creswell's true star, and most importantly, his involvement in the incident 8 years ago. Nevertheless, it'd be impossible to ask him everything at once. What puzzles me most is his intent in approaching me once again. Perhaps he suspects me after all. I reminded myself to stay vigilant. Alfred then uttered something quite unexpected.
ところでエドワードから聞いたぞ。お前は刺繍の腕が良いのだと。
Edward told me that you're good at embroidery. You must have quite a deft hands. Oh, not at all. It's merely a modest hobby. My skills are far from remarkable. They pale in comparison to House Creswell's talent. I'd heard that Spriggan, the founder of House Creswell, mined ores, crafted it with their own hands, and forged weapons. Their dexterity was then passed down through the generations. The defensive barrier used by House Creswell was said to be the power by ore they had
刺
mined.
繍と石工の技術はまた違う。そちらに学ぶところもあるかと思ってな。
Embroidery and stonework are distant arts. I imagine there are lessons to be learned from skills in that field. You truly are devoted to the welfare of this nation, Lord Alfred. Alfred shook his head when I expressed my honest admiration for his insatiable desire to learn.
これぐらい上に立つ者として当然だ。技術は常に進化させていくべきであり、そのために新しい知識を身につけなくては。
This is merely what is expected of someone in a leadership position. One must always strive to advance their skills. Gaining new knowledge is essential in
お
doing
前が
so.
良ければ今度見せてほしいが、無理強いではない。断っても大丈夫だ。
If you don't mind, I'd like to see your work sometime. Please do not feel obligated, though. You're free to refuse. Hi, Anne. Reminds me, I keep saying I should drink water every 10-ish minutes. Because the non-stop reading. I never imagined such innovative views coming from someone of noble birth. I cannot say for certain if my embroidery will serve as any kind of reference, but I shall bring you my current piece once I've completed it. By that time, I'll be ready to show it. I may already have achieved my goal and to be long gone.
ぜひ頼む。
I'd greatly appreciate it. I understood why Charlotte and Edward were so fond of him, especially in these rare moments when Alfred showed his gentler side. Is it the way he furrows his brow that makes him so intimidating? I may have misjudged him. The fact that he took a servant's warning seriously regarding the tobacco incident suggested that he had an earnest disposition.
どうかしたのか。
What is it? My mind began to wander, and his voice pulled me back to reality. Nothing. I shall be on my way then. Toodaloo! I bowed my head slightly before turning away, sensing Alfred's gaze lingering on my back. I left. Ever since our encounter in the garden, Alfred has engaged me in conversation more often within the estate. It was a mixture of subtle probing and idle chatter, sort of simple everyday exchanges. How's the weather? Are you hiding a secret identity?
お前もここにいたのか。
What a coincidence, I didn't expect to find you here in this library where you work. I've come to tidy up the bookshelves. What brings you here, Lord Alfred? If you're in search of a book, I'd be happy to assist.
大丈夫だ。気晴らしに本でも借りようかと背表紙を眺めていただけだ。
No, it's fine. I was merely perusing the books, wondering if I should borrow one for a change of pace.
それにしてもいい蔵書だな。これはすべて公爵の趣味か。
That said, this is quite the collection. Are these all selected according to the Marques's taste? There aren't many historical works. Are you looking for Lord Edward?
会議の前に確認したいことがあるのだが、姿が見当たらなくてな。どこにいるか知らないか。
Yes, I wanted to confirm something with him before the meeting, but I can't find him anywhere. Do you know where I can find him? I think he might be in the garden. He usually has tea with her ladyship at this time. Shall I go and call for him?
いや、そういうことなら遠慮しよう。
Never mind. I wouldn't want to intrude.
指定の歓談を邪魔するほど無粋じゃない。後ほど確認させてもらうさ。仕事の邪魔をしたな。
I don't want to disturb sibling time together. I'll check in with him later. Sorry for disturbing your work. I'll take my leave.
ああ、ちょうどいいところにいたな、ローズ。
Ah, you're in just the right spot, Rose.
悪いが、広間に紅茶を頼む。
Sorry, but could you have some tea brought to the parlor?
そ
Understood.
ういえば、シャルロッテはうまく働けているか。キッチンメイドとしての腕は確かだが。
Speaking of which, is Charlotte managing all right? I know she's quite competent as a kitchen maid, but
彼女は少し自信がなさすぎる嫌いがある。お前のように堂々としてもいいぐらいの腕があるのだが。
she lacks a little too much self-esteem, even though she has the ability to carry herself as confidently as you do. Is he giving me an indirect compliment? He doesn't seem to realize it, though. While I can't be of too much help in the kitchen, it is certain that her skills are highly regarded here.
そうか。 あいつが認められているのなら、やはりここに紹介してよかったな。
Really, is that so? If she's being recognized, then I'm glad I decided to bring her here. Good on you. Good on you, my guy. It felt like there was also always some kind of hidden agenda behind Alfred Alfred's every other word. With that in mind, I couldn't let my guard down when talking to him. Parquet. The days of constant probing continued, and my long-awaited break came at last. I haven't received any messages on my pocket watch. Orion isn't responding either, but that's nothing new. Wasting my time is pointless. I suppose I should go visit John. He might have some new information. I hadn't come across significant information since I had stopped by the store during my last shopping trip. My investigation had come to a standstill. However, John was supposed to gather information from the middle class and other sources, so we might be able to make some progress. Middle class, a class consisting of humanes of non-Fey descent. They possess extraordinary imagination, diligence, and abundant emotions that Fey don't have. Prized for their traits and their development of this country, the Queen adores them and grants them her protection. That was what I believed, but...
残念ながらこっちも進展なしだ。
Afraid there's been no development on my end, sorry. Don't apologize, John. I didn't get anywhere either. I intended to give him some encouragement, but John's expression remained the same. He looked at the ceiling and let out a heavy sigh.
行き詰まったな。こうなるとエデンあたりを深く潜ってみるしかないかもしれないな。
We've hit a dead end at this point. We might have to dig deeper into Eden in order to make any progress. John couldn't frequent Eden much. Anyone who wasn't a mingle stood out in the area, making things difficult for him. We finally managed to enter one of the 5 houses' estates. Not being able to get closer to the heart of the issue is frustrating. I think focusing on one person would be best. Despite what I said, the past few days of dealing with Alfred, coupled with the exhaustion, the constant tension, led to had left my mind somewhat struggling. Tension led to had left. What the hell is that? That is the longest sentence. Constant tension led to had left my mind somewhat sluggish, I guess. This isn't good. I need to clear my head. John, I'm going to get some fresh air. I'll check on how things are going in the city.
空気ってどこか具合でも悪いのか？それなら
Fresh
横に
air?
なっ
Are
て
you
休
feeling
んだ方が
unwell? If so, you should lie down and rest. No, it's nothing like that. I'm fine. I'll be back shortly.
わかった。
Alright
な
then.
ら俺は戻ってきたら
I'll make
温かい
tea when you
紅茶
get
でも
back.
入れるよ。
Thanks, John. John's face darkened briefly as he stood, then nodded, his head, his concern for me visible. I don't want to let him see me exhausted like this. He's been looking out for me so much. Grateful for John's thoughtfulness, I ventured into the city alone. Just walked out there. Couldn't stop me. That shop has adorable items. How lovely. When had I last walked aimlessly like this? I had always been on guard, unable to open my heart to anyone. It just been John and me struggling together to get this far. Despite having once dreamed of a world outside of Eltbeek, I didn't enjoy it now that I was here. I felt morose? Morose? What? I feel like it wants to be remorse? Yet at the same time, I felt a sense of strength as I strolled around. Morass. I might as well buy some new embroidery floss while I'm at it. I turned to enter the shop I'd passed earlier and saw a familiar man and woman crossing the street. They look like they're from the lower class. They don't seem to be connected to the house Bernstein either, so where have I seen them? Girl on the street corner. I don't even see a face and I know. They're the ones who were discussing the Twilight Ravens. With the investigation at a standstill, running into them again might serve as a fresh start. I held my breath and trailed them, making sure they didn't notice me. I followed them as they turned down an alley, but little kid, they're gone. My efforts at remaining unnoticed by keeping my distance had backfired. I stood there alone, staring down a complex path between the building filled with twists and turns resembling a maze. No, they shouldn't have gone too far yet, considering how much time has passed. I'd gone through so much to break this stalemate, I couldn't let this chance slip away. I balled my hands into fists and advanced down the alley. After winding around corner after corner, I saw a figure in the dim light ahead. Hey, what's someone like you doing here? Oh, man, classic. A group of men with strong, muscular builds stood in front of me. I simply got lost. I'll be on my way. I wanted to avoid trouble, but just as I turned around, another man appeared behind me. You're not getting any way that easily. Answer the question. I got lost while chasing his lordship's cat. I have no other business here. A cat, huh? That's suspicious. A well-dressed young lady like you wouldn't just wander into an alley like this one. Are you with the yard? No, I'm not. Tell me your real purpose. Dodging them would lead to nothing, so I decided to face these men. Well then, to be honest, I'm trying to find someone. Can you let me through? I have no interest in hurting anyone. You're the one who's gonna get hurt. I caught the man's arm as he reached towards me and quickly stepped forward. I ducked and threw him towards the wall with my might. I learned the technique from John. I brushed off my clothes and met the remaining man's gaze. Are you connected to the Ravens by any chance? If so, this conversation will go smoother. This wrench. Having had his partner taken out, the man rushed at me, trying to grab me. I want to avoid a commotion. I need to settle this quickly. I shifted my weight, wrapped my arm around him, and used momentum to shake off the man's hand. He hesitated. I quickly stomped my foot and aimed a palm strike at his throat. Wait. Just as I was about to strike, a man intervened and grabbed my hand to stop me. I turned to face the voice, annoyed. The number of people I had to take down was increased and found myself stunned. Oh my, look at his suave hair and a ponytail. Lord Alfred. Standing there was none other than Alfred Creswell. Sir Al, this woman's suspicious. She's been telling our comrades and ended up here. I see. Oh, I'll handle the rest. You can go. The girl's strong. If anything happens to you, sir. Alfred glanced at me. Terrible senses she has. Honestly, yeah. So like, she's like, I'm a honed until she has to trip and fall or something. Like, she's like, I'm such a great spy, except for the fact that everyone suspects me. He waved the man off with his free hand, still gripping my own in the other. Don't worry, just go. Despite his worry, the man carried his unconscious comrade away and vanished down the alley. Now then, Alfred let go of my arm. Now that we were alone, we turned to face one another. His gaze was even sharper than usual. She's like, damn it. I'm surprised. I didn't know you knew martial arts. Those moves are beyond anything a mere servant can do. I knew I had to say something, but I couldn't wrap my head around the situation. Nothing could come out of my mouth. Why is he here? Then again, I suppose you're just as surprised. Took the words out of my mouth. Once I started to calm down, a single thought swirled through my mind. This man was the head of House Creswell and a key figure in uniting the 5 houses as part of a royalist. However, he's the type of person who wouldn't hesitate to extend his hand to those far beneath him, even to a servant like me. I can tell that he's deeply respected from the way those men acted. They had reacted with hostility and suspicion when I mentioned the Ravens, and now here was Alfred, who had earned their respect. What was it that connected them? What raven black hair? Like, what are we doing here? A possible answer came to mind, but the thought seemed ridiculous. What are you doing in a place like this, Lord Alfred? What did those men mean? Alfred remained silent. My idea began to seem much more plausible. Could it be that you're... I found myself unable to speak openly. Alfred nodded slowly, seeing me struggle for words.
もう分かっているのだろう。お前の思い当たった考えは正解だ。
I'm sure you've realized it. The thought that crossed your mind is correct.
私が彼らを束ねているもの。落日の渡りガラス。
I'm the one who united them. I'm the leader of the Twilight Ravens. From the way he stated it, he didn't seem to be trying to sweep the matter under the rug. The head of House Creswell is pretending to be loyal to the Queen as part of the Five Houses while secretly leading an anti-royalist group. Not only that, this man looks good with his hair in a ponytail. And he could be my enemy. I wonder how to respond to this situation. I hesitated. Alfred's gaze was different than before. It carried a certain affection. Affection?
もう嘘はやめろ、ローズ。
Stop lying, Rose. About what? You look like an assassin suddenly.
お
Lying.
前の主会の忠誠心は偽物だ。どんなに隠そうとしても分かった。
She's out here like, I'm such a good spy. He's like, your loyalty to your lord is nothing but a facade. It's obvious to me no matter how hard you try to hide it. Were you only talking to me because you wanted to uncover that?
そうだ。最初は本当の忠誠かとも思ったが、だがよくよく観察すると、お前の目には暗い何か
Indeed.
が垣間見えてきた。
I thought you were genuinely loyal at first, but the more I observed you, the more I saw a hint of something darker in your eyes. Just waited 2 seconds.
ゴケに、いやひいては、この国に思うところがある。私はお前をそう判断した。ならば、私たちは手を取り合える。違うか。
I just realized this is supposed to be like my shadow on his shirt. That's a fun feature. I believe you have opinions about the Five Houses, perhaps even this nation as a whole. If that's the case, then we can surely work together, can't we? Alfred extended his hand to me. Take it. Take my hand. What does he mean? Could he have figured out my true identity? No. He may sense my hostility, but not the reason for it. Doesn't matter. You're a bad spy. Be so real with yourself. Even though Alfred was waiting for my response, it didn't seem like I could get what I needed from him. And we could rule the galaxy together. Yeah. You're like, take it. Take my hand. And he's all like, no, you're not my father. And then it just happens. It doesn't matter anymore. He outright admitted that he's a raven, so I should take initiative too. I brushed my own now messy hair and dropped my emotionless facade. I steadied myself, stood tall, and leveled a piercing stare at Alfred. I'll take my time deciding whether or not to take your offer. After all, you don't know the real me, do you?
それはどういう意味だ?
What do you mean by that? Alfred stared at me in confusion, taken slightly aback by my intense hostility directed at him. I steadied myself, my hand over my heart, and firmly declared my name. Look at her. She's like, look at me, bitch. I can do a curtsy. Yeah, that's right. Class. My true name is Apros. Apros E. Randolph. I focused on my right hand on my chest and activated my Fey sight hand, showing him the back of it. I'm the sole survivor of House Randolph, accused of treason by the Queen, whose clan was wiped out at Eltbeek. This symbol is proof. It's a pleasure to once again make your acquaintance, Lord Alfred Creswell. I curtsied in a dignified manner with all of the poise of a noble woman, then smiled softly at the potential target of my revenge. Chapter 2. Dun 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 dun. She's like, surprised? And he's like, yeah, actually. It allows me to discern the truth of anything I touch, but you're the head of the 5 houses. I'm sure you already know that don't you? This is the power of Ainsel, handed down in House Randolph through the generations. Alfred remained silent, staring at me as if he were trying to judge whether what I said was true or
ならば
not.
お前が陛下が探していた例の娘だと。
Then you must be the girl Her Majesty is looking for. Why, yes. It's your choice whether or not you believe me, but
いや、その紋章から強い力を感じ取れる。
no, I sense great power from that
ユ
crest.
ニーク。五家の一族の中にも、今それほどの力を持つ者はそうはいない。お前を信じよう、アプローズ。
Okay. For real, if we're gonna have that long of a pause, I need like another page. I need like hit enter and then he says that. Like that was too long. Do you possess such powers these days, even among the 5 houses, let alone the demi-fae? I believe you, Apros.
シオの手については確かに知っている。お前の言った通りの力があることもな。
I'm familiar with the Fae sight hand. The power you spoke of is indeed
知
real.
っているのは五家の中でも当主に近い限られたものだけだ。漏れることはまずありえない。他に知るとすれば。
He's like, I believe you for this reason alone, because how else would you know? Only a select few, those close to the head of the 5 houses, are aware of it. It's almost impossible for it to leak. Anyone else who knows it is likely to be from House Randolph. Are we gonna find out her brother's not dead at some point? I feel like they don't give one guy a sprite. Right? And not the mom and dad, right? He's alive. Or he was married to Lily. Which I don't know if that's possible, but my heart tells me it could
お
be.
前がランドルフの縁者ではないかという可能性は考えていた。だが、まさか家中の人物だったとは。
I had considered that you might be related to House Randolph, but I never imagined that you'd be the one at the center of everything.
考えすぎであればいいと思っていたんだが。
I'd hoped I was reading too much into it. After a moment of silence, Alfred turned a sharp, cautious eye at me.
なぜバーンスタインにこの場所へ来たのも
Why
偶然
Bernstein?
ではないんだろう。
It's surely no coincidence that you came here. A clever man like Count Creswell must have already figured it out. No, I have something I must do. It was clear he'd already predicted it. Alfred sighed and
そ
answered.
ういや、五家も含めたランドルフ一族を追い詰めた者への復讐。
This is about avenging House Randolph, isn't it? Going up against the Queen and the 5 houses. That is correct. Does something ring a bell? Alfred said nothing. Undeterred, I continued speaking. Let's leave it at that for now. What matters is achieving my goal, and for that, I'm willing to join forces with the Ravens.
なるほど。私たちとお前の最後の目標が陛下で一致しているからか。
I see. I suppose our goals are aligned as both are related to Her Majesty now. Exactly, but just to be clear, I don't trust you yet.
当然だ。それはこちらも同じだ。お前がランドルフの生き残りで例の娘と分かった以上。
I feel the same,
100% の信
obviously.
用はできない。
I can't fully trust you now that I know you're the last remaining survivor of House Randolph and the girl in question. We were on the same page, but I could never trust the head of the 5 houses, even if I knew he was going against the Queen. Nevertheless, I knew losing this opportunity wouldn't be the best course of action. Working together to get closer to the Queen is something I've been hoping for, just as you mentioned. That said, I need some sort of guarantee that you won't sell me out. Tell me, what is the Raven's true objective? We both had our eyes on the Queen, but it would be too risky to join forces without knowing what cause they fought for. I don't know the full extent of the Ravens' organization, but they move as a group. It's hard to believe that it's merely resentment.
秘密の共有で互いの弱みを握り合う。そうすれば裏切りを防げると。
Are you suggesting we share each other's secrets and weaknesses to prevent betrayal? Exactly. I'm basically the Queen's key asset, and I know that the head of the 5 houses is trying to achieve. I know what the head of the 5 houses is trying to achieve with the anti-royalist. I took a step closer to the hesitant Alfred and shot him a look of contempt, something I would never have done in House Bernstein. We both know we're walking on thin ice here. I don't have time to wait around. Make your decision now. His gaze told me he was intent on understanding me to my core. I didn't look away from his obvious piercing stare.
手を組もう。私の目的についても話す。
Fine, let's team up. I'll tell you my objectives. I acted boldly, but I still managed to fight Alfred in the worst case scenario. I can do it. I was quietly relieved when he nodded. Well then, the deal is sealed.
ああ。互いの目標にたどり着くために協力していこう。
Wasn't he supposed to tell me what his secret was? Wait, let's work together to achieve our respective goals. What's the goal? Unlike when he had invited me to join him as an ally, Alfred didn't extend his hand to me, the lone survivor of House Randolph. That's fine by me. We're just using each other anyways. I'll channel this hatred towards the culprits of the incident and that woman. For that reason, there was something I absolutely had to confirm.
きちんと話ができる時間を取る。私たちの目的はその時に必ず話そう。
I'll make sure we have
ひとまず今日は
enough time to talk properly. We'll go over our objectives, but for the moment, since we're allies now, there's something I'd like to know.
ここにこれ以上長居するわけにはいかないんだが。
I can't stay here any longer. Alfred rubbed his forehead, looking as if he were dealing with a child. The anger I'd held back boiled within me, then with renewed vigor. I took a deep breath, steadying my voice, and spoke slowly, careful not to let it shake. You know what happened to House Randolph and Eltbeek, don't you?
ああ。
I do.
それでお前は何を知りたいんだ。
So what do you want to know? You're so snarky, asking such an obvious question. My heart raced uncontrollably when those words left my mouth. This was something I desperately wanted to know for the past 8 years. Despite all my efforts, I couldn't uncover the truth. The man in front of me surely held the answer. On that night 8 years ago, who was it in the Queen's command to kill me, my family, and everyone in Eltbeek?
それは
That is, you know who did it, don't you? Answer me.
あの夜は
That night,
あるのだな。
Al, a boy I recognized, ran up to
レオナ
us.
ルドどうした
What's wrong, Leonardo? This child looks like you have the same eyes. Is this your child of some kind? We didn't get the answer we wanted. I don't need a flashback. I remember him. There was no mistake. The boy called Leonardo was the one who stole Charlotte's wallet and fled the other day. Was it only that one time? Oh, right. I saw him in that memory. Remember.
石の力を出しすぎると逆に壊れ
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, what? Leonardo seemed to recognize me too. 2 flashbacks. Dude, this game loves its flashbacks. It's been very flashbacky the last like couple streams. And then one of the flashbacks happened in the same event. Like we were just sitting here. I had like 4 flashbacks and then I had one more flashback, but that flashback was from the event at the beginning of the event. I was like, Leonardo seemed to recognize me too and narrowed his eyes as if he saw something unpleasant.
いつまでも来ないから何かあったのかって思ってさ。
I will kick your ass, Leonardo. I started to wonder if something had happened to you since you didn't show up. Who's this? Alfred glanced at me, seemingly thanking. Then he turned to
彼
Leonardo.
女は私たちの協力者だ問題ない
You'd really hate Olympia Soiree. I've been told this multiple times, but I do want to play Olympia Soiree for the little guy with the skulls. I'm with the skull boy. She's our ally. Everything's fine.
まあ、旦那がそう言うならいいけど。
If you say so, sir. Leonardo studied me for a while before turning back to Alfred.
言われた通りみんなをアジトに集めたぜ。早く来てくれよ。
But it doesn't mean we'll get through Olympia Soiree so fast. All the flashbacks. The sequel came out last month. But not in English, right? Right? I gathered everything in the hideout just as you asked. Hurry up, we need to discuss what's ahead. Great, good.
待たせてすまない
I don't have to hurry and add it to my list. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'll be there in a moment.
了解。
Got it.
じゃあ俺は先に戻るぜ。
I'll head back
みんな
first.
しびれを切らしてるから。
Everyone's getting
急いでくれよ
impatient. Make it quick. Leonardo glanced at me as though he had something to say, but then turned and walked away. He's jealous. Alfred spun around and made his way deeper into the alley.
今日のところはここまでだ。お前ももう戻れ。両家の使用人がいつまでもこんな場所にいると目立つ。
You're the leader of one of the 5 houses. All you did was put on a gray jacket with the same... You have the gem on your collar from your mines, my guy. Sorry, but that's all for today. You should head back. A servant from a respectable family will only stand out in a place like this. You're getting away with the help of a child.
好きに思うといい。
Think whatever you like. You're getting away with the help of a child, yeah. He thinks he's Clark Kent. he's like, with glasses, without glasses. Think whatever you like. Alfred took a few steps forward, but stopped as if he had just remembered something and looked back at me.
渡りガラスの中にはお前を警戒する者も出るはずだ。
Some of the ravens will certainly be wary of you.
私から話をつけておく。だからお前もこちらを不用意に探るような行動は控えてくれ。
I'll take care of things with them, so please refrain from acting reckless and snooping around. Snooping around would only raise their suspicion of me. I wanted to avoid making this a problem since before we had talked about cooperating. I understand, but don't get the wrong idea. I'll be careful for the sake of cooperating, but I won't take orders from you.
それでいい。
I suppose that's fine. Later then, next time, make sure you answer my question. You better answer it. I had no desire to chase after Alfred, who walked away without waiting for my response. Alfred Creswell was the leader of the Twilight Ravens, and I had become his ally. Even though we'd formed a new partnership, things between us remained unchanged at the Bernstein estate.
例の件はどうなっている？
Edward, how's the situation with that matter?
巡回を増やすよう指示を出したところです。これ以上、羽狩りの被害者を出すつもりはありません。
I've ordered patrols to be increased. We won't let there be any more victims of wing hunting.
そうだな。博覧会も近づく今、この件は早急に収束させたい。
With the exhibition approaching, we need to resolve this matter quickly. I remained by their sides as a server, paying close attention to their conversation. Yes, tell me more. Alfred, on the other hand, was focused on discussing the future with Edward. He didn't pay any attention to me.
我ら5家の誇りをかけて、陛下を守り通さねば。
We must protect Her Majesty. The pride of our houses are at stake. Now that I know the truth, he's quite the liar, ain't he? I continued playing the role of a mere servant, hiding my true feelings beneath my emotionless facade. My emotional facade. I'm just in tears.
しかし、あの日聞いた時は驚いたが、まさかあの男が反女王派だったとはな。うまく隠していたもんだ。
I have to admit, I was stunned when you told me. Who would have guessed that he's an anti-royalist? He's hidden it well. I've gone straight to the store and reported everything to John right after my encounter with Alfred in the back alley. Goneril was out shopping and unavailable, so we settled in our usual seats and updated each other on recent progress. Once we had gone over everything, John looked at me with a hint of worry in his eyes.
今回は向こうにも弱みがあったからよかったけど、お嬢もいきなり身分を明かすなんて危険すぎる。
I'm dramatic. What can I say? I'm a terrible spy. We were lucky he exposed his weakness, but revealing your identity so suddenly was far too dangerous.
お前の判断を否定するつもりはないけど、こういうことは必ず相談してからにしてくれ。
I'm not questioning your judgment, but please discuss it with me next time. Got it? I know. Sorry, John. John appeared to have more to say, but he merely let out a soft sigh and nodded.
それにしても、なぜあの男は反女王派に？地位も名誉も持っているのに、随分危ない橋を渡ってる。
Still, why is he an
何かそれ相応
anti-royalist?
の理由があるはずだ。
He has both status and honor, yet he's crossing a dangerous line. There must be a good reason for
女王
it.
に仕えているうちに、あの権力に目がくらんでってことはないか。
Could he have become blinded by power while serving the queen and wanted the throne? I don't deny the possibility, but someone so materialistic wouldn't be respected by a member of the Ravens. That wasn't all. Even Charlotte and Edward's true embodiments of kindness looked up to me. When it came to judging one's true nature, it'd be more accurate to look at objective accounts from multiple people rather than focusing on his behavior. On that note, it was safe to assume that Alfred wasn't the type to be corrupted by the power so foolishly, but that doesn't mean I can trust him.
そこまであの男も愚かじゃないか。権力欲しさなら、わざわざ女王や他の御家を敵に回すより効果的なやり方があるだろうし。
He's not that stupid. If he craves power, there are more effective ways than making the queen and 5 houses his enemies. I've considered that too, given his position. He could undermine the queen's authority from within without taking risk or relying on everyday citizens. John and I were on the same page, but he seemed to have hit a wall and started absent-mindedly fiddling with his hat.
そうなんだよな。お嬢はあれからバーンスタイン家であっても特に話はできていない。
I know,
それ
right?
らしい情報はつかめていないんだよな。
I mean, you've barely talked to him since then, even the Bernstein Mansion. Even at the Bernstein Mansion, and there's been no useful information worth gathering, has there? That's right, it's hard to properly converse with him when the others attending the meeting are present. I'd had several encounters with Alfred and at the Bernstein estate. After discovering his other side, I'd had several encounters with Alfred at the Bernstein estate after discovering his other side, but we always acted like a household head and a mere servant. I still haven't had a chance to ask him about Eltbeek. I had no clue whether or not he was connected to the incident, and if he was, what exactly he had done there. I didn't know a thing. He was about to say something that day. He definitely knows someone's connected to the incident. It's so frustrating. John placed a hand on my shoulder and gave me a reassuring smile.
焦らないでいこう。
So
せっ
close.
かく掴んだ糸口だ。
It's
着
like
実
a
に進めていかない
step,
とな。
a smidge back. Don't rush, my lady. We've finally found a clue. We need to move forward steadily.
停滞していた調査も大きく動いたことは間違いない。ただ、危険も増えるだろうから気を抜くなよ。
The investigation has clearly made some progress, but with that comes more danger. Don't let your guard down. The warmth of John's hand on my shoulder eased the tension I hadn't realized was even there. My shoulders relaxed. I know that. Thank you, John. Speaking of which, do you have any updates on the accomplice thing? I asked John to look into the meaning behind Lucas's slip of the tongue when he had mentioned being an accomplice with Alfred. John shook his head and sighed. Unfortunately, there hadn't been much progress.
サリバンについて調べたが、タウンハウスにそもそも使用人が一人しかいないらしいんだ。今別口から当たろうとしてる。
I did some digging on Sullivan, but it looks like there's only one servant. I'm perusing a different angle now.
クレスウェルはさすがというか守りが固い。
Creswell is guarded as ever.
あるところ以上に進もうとすると何も情報が出てこなくなる。
Unless we go further, nothing new will come up. Don't do anything too risky. Not that it's very convincing coming from me. The door suddenly flew open. Goneril stood there out of breath. The air was thick with tension.
お嬢ちゃんもいるならちょうどいい。二人とも早く支度しな。
Okay, good. You're both here. Hurry up and get ready, you two.
金狩りだ。
It's the Wing Hunters. The Wing Hunters. The eerie incident the 5 houses had discussed at the Bernstein Mansion still lacked any details. I had thought learning about the Wing Hunters could prove helpful at some point, but
場所はどこだ？
where is it?
エーデンだよ。被害者はまだ現場にいる。早くしないとヤードが連れてっちまう。今ならまだ間に合うよ。
Eden, the victim is still at the scene. If we don't hurry, the yard will take them away. There's no time to waste.
わかった。
Got it,
お
let's
嬢、
go.
行ってみよう。
My lady. Right. What a change. Goneril directed us to a place in front of the ruined building in the heart of Eden. I made my way through the crowd ahead of me. A weak girl, her face pale, was held up by her friends. The wing on her back were clearly visible, but her wings are nearly gone.
羽狩りか。 調査中に何度か話題を聞いたことはあったけど、実際に見るとむごいな。
The wing hunters, huh? They've come up a few times during my investigations, but seeing it in person, it's awful. I knew the agony of being harmed for no reason. I couldn't utter a single word thinking about how the girl felt. The yard pushed through the crowd, leading them where...
ひどいこと。すぐ医者を呼びましょう。
This is horrible. Let's call the doctor right away.
待て、エドワード。見たところ応急処置は彼らが済ませている。犯人の証拠が消える前に
Hold
現
on,
場
Edward.
検証をするのが
It
先
seems they've already given her first aid. We need to investigate the scene before the evidence disappears. Edward and Alfred? I didn't expect them to come all the way from Eden. All the way to Eden after learning about the incident. Having spotted the pair, John quietly moved in front of me. I stepped inside his shadow so no, they couldn't see me. This is bad. Me being here is suspicious. Why would a servant from House Bernstein be here on the outskirts of Rowan, where so many Mingles lived? Alfred aside, staying undercover at the mansion would be harder if Edward grew suspicious.
お嬢、戻ろう。
Let's go back, my lady. John and I exchanged looks and blended into the crowd, but then...
お前は
You... Apparently, Alfred's keen eyes spotted us. I glanced at John, making sure he had left, and shifted into the role of House Bernstein's maid. Lord Alfred and Lord Edward. Edward caught sight of me after Alfred had noticed me. His eyes widened. He looked completely taken aback as he approached me.
君がなぜこんなところに
What are you doing here? I was going to blend into the crowd, but someone who knows I am a secret agent decided to call out to me. Today's my day off. I was nearby when I heard the noise and thought I'd check to see if I could be of any help.
そうだったのか。君は本当に思いやりがあるんだ
I
ね
see. You're such a thoughtful person. Yeah, I'm so thoughtful. What a great soul I have. Edward responded just as he would if he were at the mansion, taking my words seriously before smiling
君
softly.
の優秀さは日頃から理解しているよ。実に頼もしい申し出だけれど、この辺りは女性には物騒なんだ。
I know you're capable. I know how capable you are, full well. While your offer is truly reassuring, this area is dangerous for women, especially now. Is he just gullible? Hell yeah. And he has a crush on her, which makes you even more gullible and stupid. Edward glanced around and guided me away from the
こ
victim.
こは私たちに任せて。明日からまた屋敷での仕事を頼む。
Leave this to us. I'll need you back at the mansion tomorrow for work. It was a lucky turn of events as I wanted to leave. I couldn't let him suspect me, although I was worried about the girl who had been targeted. Understood. I'll take my leave then. I bowed my head and turned to leave. Alfred, who stood behind Edward, was giving orders, shifting his gaze to me. Alfred whispered something as I passed him, making sure Edward didn't notice.
この先の路地裏で待て
Wait in the alley ahead. I remained silent and continued walking as if nothing was wrong. So skillful. Watch me walk. Phew. Finally free of the crowd, I sighed and sent a message to John from my watch, letting him know I was safe. I glanced back. The crowd was dispersing and the noise faded, yet tension remained in the air. What Alfred said, I guess I have no choice but to wait there. I don't like the idea of him giving me orders, but it's the perfect chance to hear the answer to my question. I wasn't going to let him get away this time. With my sights set on my goal, I made my way to the designated alley. I stayed hidden for some time. I watched the passerbyers absent-mindedly as my surroundings grew dark. Both the nobles and middle class pretended to not notice, treating this as a place for those discarded by the queen, yet we're all citizens of the same country. A sentiment that had nothing to do with my goal crept in, perhaps because the ravens had been on my mind since I visited the shop. I watched people hurry down the street, wondering where they were headed. I'm sure some of them have no place to return to, just like me. The thought left an unbearable pain welling in my chest. It was only then that I realized how shaken I was, similarly to what happened after I saw the victim from earlier. Imagine he stood her up. He just forgot. He's like, I have ADHD actually, and I forgot I told you to go wait in that alley. At the same time, I couldn't figure out what Alfred was trying to do by bringing together those who carried such pain and suffering. I wondered what he means to them, a savior, or perhaps... You always look so serious, huh? A small figure emerged from the evening shadows. It was Leonardo. Hey, we meet again, huh? Leonardo adjusted his hat and continued in a quieter voice. Sir Al asked me to bring you to the hideout. Sound good? Okay. Good. This way then, follow me. Leonardo quickly surveyed the area. When he decided everything looked fine, he walked with assured steps. I matched his pace, staying alongside him. I glanced at his back. There was only one small wing, but it was a beautiful color. Obviously, oblivious to me, my staring, Leonardo crossed his arms behind his head and spoke thoughtfully.
まさかあのおっかないお姉さんと手を組むことになるなんてな。安心しな。仲間の財布は取らないから。
I never thought I'd team up with the scary lady I met the other day. Oh, relax. I won't steal from a comrade. I'm not your comrade, just an ally. Also, I doubt you can take anything from me. Leonardo gave a nasal laugh when I tried to correct his misconception.
言っとくけど、この間はちょっとミスっただけ。
Just so you know, I only made a tiny mistake the other day, if I really wanted to. Leonardo glanced at me from under his hat and gestured by rubbing his fingers together and watched him silently.
冗談だよ、冗談。そのしかめっ面をどうにかしたくて言っただけ。
It was only a joke. Really, I only said it to make you stop looking so grim. The way he spoke. Oh, the child is in the next line. Oh my goodness. The way he spoke and pouted his lips revealed a childlike innocence fitting for his age. I wonder why a child joined the Ravens. Is it related to House Creswell? Is he? Those blue or green eyes? I couldn't help but be reminded of Charlotte, whose wallet he had almost stolen the other day. As if sensing my thought, Leonardo began to speak again.
先に言っとくけど、俺はクレスウェル家とは関係ない。ただのミングルさ。
Let me make this clear. I have no connection whatsoever to House Creswell. I'm just a mingle. Is that so?
あと、アジトに着く前に注意しとく。アルの旦那がクレスウェル家当主だってこと。他の奴らの前では絶対言わないで。
One last thing before we reach the hideout. Don't tell anyone that Sir Al is the head of House
俺以外
Creswell.
の奴らはみんな知らない。五家の末端の貴族ぐらいの認識でいるんだ。変な疑いを持たれたら困るからさ。
Are you telling me they don't know what he looks like? They just don't know. They're just like, face. What? The other day, the others don't know. They think he's just some ranking noble from the Five Houses. It'd be a problem if they got suspicious. Would it though? Alright, I'll keep that in mind. I won't bring up anything unnecessary. One thing though, why does everyone look up to him? Leonardo tousled his hair and answered.
俺の場合は、昔、死にそうなところを救われたんだよ。命の恩人ってわけさ。
In my case, he saved me when I was on the brink of death a long time ago. He's my hero. Leonardo stepped forward and continued speaking, looking a little
俺
proud.
に対してだけじゃないぜ。あの人はミングルときちんと向き合ってくれる。
It's not just me either. He treats Mingles with genuine
俺
respect.
たちを見下したり、哀れんだりもしない。対等な存在として扱ってくれるんだ。
He doesn't treat us as inferior or pitiful. He treats us as equals. Leonardo went on to explain that Alfred had been teaching House Creswell's stone masonry to the unemployed in the district.
俺も最初はこんなとこにやってくるのはお貴族様の同情か道楽だと思ってたよ。でも違う。アルの旦那は本気さ。
When he first came around, I thought he was just a nobleman. Just a nobleman's way of showing pity and entertaining himself, but Sir Al's genuine.
俺たちだってやればできる。生きていく術があるんだって教えてくれるんだ。
He showed us that we're not helpless, that we have the skills we need to survive. He taught me to pickpocket.
そうやっていつも本気でこの国の未来を考えてる。
That's just how he is, always considering the future of this nation. Always considering the future of this nation seriously. Always considering the future of this nation seriously.
もう少し前だったら
I guess.
他にもそういう貴族がいたって旦那は言うけど、今俺が信じられるのはあの人だけだ。
He told me that there used to be other nobles who were like him in the past, but right now he's the only person I can trust.
だから俺はこの命を預ける。他の奴らも同じだと思う。
That's why I trust him with my life. I believe the others feel the same way. I see. Alfred envisioned the polar opposite of the current state of this country, where the eliminators of the weak was justified. Alfred envisioned the polar opposite of the current state of this country, where the elimination of the weak was justified. It was an impossible goal. And yet, he worked hard to make the ideal a reality. From what Leonardo said, it was clear that he was doing everything he could to provide it.
そうな
Leonardo seemed to have realized that he was speaking too passionately. He blushed slightly and cast his eyes downward.
つうわけで俺は今他の奴らをつなぐ何でも屋をやってるってわけ。
So what I'm saying is, I'm doing all sorts of things to help connect the others. If I can, Sir Al, that's enough for me. If I can help Sir Al, that's enough for me.
旦那がお姉さんを認めたって言うなら俺も従う。
So if he acknowledges you, then I'll follow his lead.
まあ、そっちはそっちの目的があるみたいだけど。あの日、仲間の財布を取り返そうとしたあんたのこと。
I suppose you have your own purpose too. I don't have anything against you for trying to get your friend's wallet back either.
ひとまずこれからよろしく。
I hope we can get along well. Same here. Even though it came from someone who followed Alfred, what he was doing was much more for the people than anything the Queen did. Someone who cares about the nation and its people. No, wait, that doesn't matter. It doesn't have anything to do with my goal. LOL. After that, we walked in silence. Leonardo then stopped, tilted his chin slightly, and pointed at a building.
着いた。あそこだ。
We're here, it's over there.
最後の確認だ。中に入ったらもう後戻りはできない。
One last time. Once you go inside, there's no turning back. You'll be a part of the Ravens.
ボードやゴケの奴らにバレたら即ジエンド。裏切りは絶対に許されない。覚悟は
The Yard of the Five Houses learn of this, it's all over. Betrayal is never forgiven. Are you prepared for that? It had always been this way. If I had got found out, everything was over. A defiant smile spread across my face without me realizing it. Absolutely. I moved past Leonardo and opened the door with no hesitation. You're here. Alright, it's officially time for me to go get ready for the bed, I guess. This seemed like a good stopping point. I don't want to be too greedy. I do want to be greedy, but I also don't want to be too greedy. Because I said I'd probably end about 9:30 and it's a couple minutes till. And if I keep going, it's over for me. Yes, balance. I know. Balance. Because I have work in the morning. I go to work at 6 a.m. tomorrow. I picked up a shift. But I will have a stream tomorrow. It's either going to be Borderlands or more of this. I don't think I'll have time for both. So that's going to be tomorrow's stream. Yes! Thank you, Blue. Thank you, Bass. Thank you, Anne. And Viracil. Thank you. Let me see if there's anybody I can raid before I head out, since I haven't raided anybody recently. But yeah, there will be a stream tomorrow. There is going to be a stream on Tuesday too, so I have a stream for the next 2 days. Tomorrow's going to be in the afternoon. And then Tuesdays is going to be in the morning. Sile's on! Let's raid Sile. It's been a minute. He's playing a game. Alright, yeah, thank you so much for watching this on YouTube. Remember, you can check this out on Twitch. We stream about 3 times a week. We're currently playing Mistonia. We have plans for the new year. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys have a lovely night. Thank you for being here with me.